Господине Палиаре, вие добивте неодамна награда за животно дело од македонската диаспора, моите честитки, но исто така неодамна пративте писмо до председателот Иванов и премиерот Груевски, писмо кое се однесува на уставните измени околу промените на брачната заедница во која барате таквите измени, уставни измени да не доаѓаат, да не бидат земени во предвид. Ве молам, кажете ми, дали ова писмо се ваши лични ставови или пак ставови на целата македонска диаспора?
The letter was written in setting out my personal views, but I didn't send it until I had the authority of the Macedonian Canadian Lawyers Association, of which there are more than 50 members. I happen to be the president of it. The lawyers were of the view that this position being advanced by the government to implement Amendment 33 to the Constitution is just simply wrong. And so that's why we wrote the letter.
Зошто македонските парламентарци како представници, пратеници на диаспората не се подписници на ова писмо?
That's probably true because nobody responded. We have a representative of the Macedonian Parliament in Canada, Pavle Savov, and he and I had a number of exchanges about this issue, and he is absolutely wedded to the government position, and he and I had some strong words about why it was that this is just wrong. And so we have unfortunately come up with a different position than that one being advanced by the government. This is just wrong on a whole number of different fronts, which I'm happy to outline for you if you want.
Дали добивте одговор од македонските представници Груевски и Иванов, одговор околу ова писмо што го пративте?
I did not have the courtesy of a reply from either Prime Minister Gruevski or President Ivanov, and I was particularly disappointed in not receiving a reply from the President because when he was in Canada last, he asked for me to set up a private dinner for him with some very senior Canadian people in business who were non-Macedonian, and I did that. We had a lovely dinner with about 8 very important Canadian people so that he would have an opportunity to meet with them and tell them about the advances being made in Macedonia and why people should be more interested in Macedonia. We had a lovely evening, but I would have thought that given that evening and the fact that I had set that up, he might have the courtesy of responding to my letter, but I have received no responses from him or the Minister of Foreign Investment. They would be absolutely 100% opposed to what the Macedonian government is intending to do. There is no question about that. It is unacceptable what the Macedonian government intends to do with respect to Amendment 33. It violates the human rights of people. It's just not something that Canadians or any civilized society in a Western democracy ought to be doing to any of its citizens. These are what we would describe as vulnerable people. It's why we have anti-discrimination provisions with respect to race, with respect to age, with respect to religion. And it's equally true with respect to sexual preferences. It shouldn't matter to the government or to the people what people's sexual preferences are. And so it's a human right. And for me, having spent half of my professional career, more than 20 years, fighting for the human rights of Macedonians in the neighboring countries, it's particularly offensive that when I go out and I try to demonstrate the conduct of a country like Greece to our people who can't engage in basic human rights, that we are now violating the human rights of our own Macedonian people in Macedonia is completely unacceptable.
Кој е вашиот коментар на нападите на центрите на ЛГБТ заедницата или уште полоша нападите кон активистите на ЛГБТ?
I think it's completely despicable that the government and the police agencies and the prosecutors are not actively engaged in chasing down and arresting those who are involved in any attacks on any of its citizens, let alone the LGBTQ community. And as I understand it, there have been at least 4 or 5 attacks on that community with no police investigation and certainly no prosecutions, and the director of criminal prosecutions has done nothing. The rule of law, if it means anything, is there to protect all citizens and particularly those who are vulnerable to attack. And so if the rule of law is meaningful, as it should be, these people ought to be protected.